Hello and welcome. I am so happy that you're here because today I'm going to give you a walkthrough, step-by-step, of one of my favorite spells for multiplying money. This spell will allow you to enchant or charm an item so that it can help you increase or multiply or amplify the money in your life. I have used this spell in the past personally to have more money come into my life experience than goes out, so that I have this kind of overflow of abundance and prosperity in my life. I've also used it more specifically to 2 times or 5 times or even 10 times every dollar that I spend. So every dollar I spend, I receive $2 or $5 or $10 in return. That money circulates back to me. So that's kind of the intent with this charm, with this spell that we're doing. This spell has also helped me make big leaps in my income. So I've used this spell in the past to double my salary when I was in a corporate job still, and I have used it to make huge leaps in my business, like going from making $2,000 a month to making $20,000 a month in my business overnight. This spell is part of the free money magic series that I'm doing here on my channel. So if you want to learn more about the basics of money magic and get the other 2 spells that are in this series, so we have a spell for banishing debt or blocks around money. We also have a spell for manifesting or attracting more money into your life. If you want to get all of that great content as well as exclusive tips for how to supercharge this spell that we're doing today, as well as the other spells in this money magic series, then definitely make sure to go to the link in the description below this video and register for this money magic series for free. It is completely free, but the only way to get all of that in one place, and especially those exclusive tips, is by registering. And when you do that at that link below, that gets all of that amazing stuff, all of the video links and all of the exclusive tips delivered straight to your inbox. So definitely go check that out. Now, as always with my spell videos, I want to do a couple quick notes for you before we dive in. First of all, you will see me in this spell and in other spells use different herbs, spices, crystals, different tools and ingredients. And it's really important for you to know that while you are absolutely welcome to follow what I do step by step and clone my exact ingredient list, you also are more than welcome and honestly encouraged to swap out ingredients, make changes to the different things that we're using in the spell, or even make changes to the spell itself for your own use. I will explain why I'm using all of the different ingredients that I am putting into each spell so that you can understand the intention behind each one of them, and then make appropriate swaps if you want to within your own recipe, or even just add in or subtract out ingredients altogether. Completely up to you. Make this spell your own. Most of the ingredients or tools that I use are things you probably have on hand or have similar things on hand that you could use. So you definitely don't need to go out and buy a bunch of expensive herbs or spices or tools or anything like that. Make use of what you have, unless it feels really aligned for you to go out and get 1 or 2 specific things. Another note is to take what works for you and leave what doesn't. Money is incredibly subjective. It is incredibly personal. So what I do may or may not be exactly the right fit for you. This video, this walkthrough is meant to be a template, a kind of recipe that you can follow and make your own. And lastly, of course, make sure you are practicing your magic safely. Meaning, if there are herbs or spices that I ask you to use or that I suggest that you use, and you know you have a skin sensitivity to those things, don't use them or wear gloves while you're doing your magic workings. Alternatively, if I am suggesting that you burn or dispose of something or do anything along those lines, practice safety while doing so. Like I mentioned just a moment ago, for this spell we are charming or enchanting an object, and that object is going to act as a money multiplier in our lives. The item that you choose to charm with this spell should be something that either you can easily wear or carry on your person day to day as you go about your life, or it should be something that is small enough to fit comfortably in your wallet or your purse so that you can carry it around with you that way. So you can choose to enchant, for example, a piece of jewelry, a watch, a trinket, a crystal, anything along those lines. It's completely up to you. Just make sure you can easily carry it with you or in your purse or wallet. All right, with that being said, let's dive into our spell for multiplying money. So for this spell, I am using pen, paper. I have this little frog statue. This is the item I'm going to be charming. You can pick any small item you like. I'll also be using a citrine crystal, bay leaf, cinnamon, which you can use powder or sticks, completely up to you, a pinch of sugar, and a small cup or dish of milk. All right, I am here at my work table, so we are going to walk through this spell for multiplying your money together. First thing I always do with every spell is set my intention and get clear on what I want to do with this spell. So for this spell, we're going to charm this little frog statue, tiny little statue or figurine that I have. This was actually gifted to me 10, 15 years ago by one of my best friends. She gave this to me. The intention for it was actually to be a charm that I kept in my purse to bring more money to me than went out. And I carried it in my wallet for a long time, but I've never properly charmed it myself. So I figured this would be the perfect thing to charm for a money multiplication spell that I wanted to walk you all through. So this is my little item that I am charming today. You will want to pick an item that feels good to you, that is easy for you to carry, that is pretty small, or else something that you can easily wear or stick in your wallet or purse. And yeah, you want to pick something small enough to be able to carry it with you daily or wherever you go and keep it with your money, your wallet, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, so I will be charming this little guy right here to have every dollar that I spend, every $1 that I spend, come back to me fivefold. So every time I spend $1 on something, some way, somehow, the universe is going to bring $5 to me. So this is multiplying our money, right? You could also use this spell we're about to do to multiply your income by 2, or to increase your bank balance by 30 or 50%, or whatever you like. It's entirely up to you of how you want to go about how the multiplication of your money looks. So now that we have this intention, because this guy is going to bring me $5 back for every dollar I spend. That's the intention here. Now that we have our intention set, I'm going to gather my ingredients and tools. I have them here for us. So we've got our paper, our pen, this item that we are charging, my little frog, and we have, because I want to receive 5 times what I spend, we have 5 items or ingredients that I'm going to be using in the spell to charm this frog. So what we have here is we have a citrine crystal to amplify abundance. I'm probably going to swap this order here actually. So we're going to start with our bay leaf, which signifies money. Abundance bay leaves are often associated with money. They're used in a lot of money spells. We are also going to be using citrine to amplify abundance. We'll be using cinnamon. I'm using a stick. You can use powder, completely up to you, but we're going to be using cinnamon to speed up the amplification of abundance. We're going to be using a pinch of sugar right here. That is to attract abundance. Sugar is sweet. It's attracting things to us. And we are going to be using this small cup of milk to help aid in the flow, the smooth flow of abundance to me, right? Because I want this to flow to me easily and smoothly and without abrasiveness or without chaos or struggle. So a quick note before we actually dive into working this spell is that you are going to want to do this magical working this spell outside in the sunlight or on a table that's near a windowsill where the light can shine onto the item that you are charming, right? Even if it's in direct sunlight, you want sunlight hitting this item. I am not in that sort of setup right now. Normally I would do this sort of a charm spell outside in my backyard, but in order to have my filming set up here for you, we are doing it inside. So this is just an example, but you will see why later, why you'll want to have an area that gets some sunlight on your item as you're doing your spell work. So we'll go into that in a bit, but just a note before you start setting up. All right, so now that we have our intention set and our tools and ingredients gathered, I like to start my spell work, as always, by just cleansing the area and all of the tools and ingredients. I just do general, really simple smoke cleansing with an incense stick. You can cleanse with other smoke, with sage. You can visualize everything being cleansed. You can use running water. Entirely up to you, but we just want to set that intention to clear all negative or unwanted energies out of here, because we don't want to be multiplying anything unwanted with our spell at all. So now that we have set our intention, gathered our ingredients, and cleansed the area, we will take a deep breath. I like to center myself, call all my energy, my magic, my power to me, and really center it so I can use it with intention in this magical working. And then I just like to check in with my spirit guides, my deities that I work with, my inner guidance, my higher self, the universe, source, God, angels, your spirit team, your ancestors, whatever you like to use to divine or source guidance. But I just like to check in to see if there's anything I need to know before moving forward with this spell. And right now I'm getting the all clear, so let's proceed. So the first thing we want to do is we want to take the item that you are charming and set it in the center of your piece of paper. I'm probably going to reorganize my layout here in a moment. We're going to do it now just so that this is a better setup for you and you can see everything on camera. I want to make sure you can see everything. But we want to center our little guy, our little charm, the thing we're going to be enchanting, in the center of our paper. All right, so here we go. Right in the center. And once the item that you are charming is in the center of your paper, we're going to draw a circle around it. And the circle doesn't need to be big, probably about that large. We want to leave maybe an inch of space, a little bit of space between the item you're charming and the circle. I am going to do this off camera. I am going to do this with a bowl that I am going to trace, because I do not have the artistic capability to freehand this, but you are absolutely welcome to freehand it. It does not need to look perfect. So now that we have a circle right around our item that we're charming, we're going to take our other ingredients and we're going to arrange them on the outside of our circle. So as we do this, I like to hold each item and kind of charge it with the intention of why I'm bringing it into the spell, what I want it to do in this spell, and really funnel that energy into this item as I place it on there. So for the bay leaf, I am sending the intention of abundance into this bay leaf. And then I'll place it here outside of the circle. Next we have our citrine, so I am charging this little piece of citrine with the energy of amplification. For abundance, citrine is really great for amplifying, and especially prosperity and money. And we're going to place it out here. Push this here. Next we have our cinnamon, so I'm going to charge this cinnamon with the intention to speed abundance into my life, to have it happen quickly, right? To have this multiplication, this amplification of my money happen swiftly, fast. Place it here. Next, we are going to take a pinch of sugar. You could set the whole cup here. I'm just honestly going to take a pinch of it and put it right on the paper. And as I do, I am just going to set that intention for it to attract abundance into my life. Attract money, attract amplified money. $5 for every one that I spend right into my life. And now we are going to place our last item, which is our ingredient, which is our milk here. And I am going to, of course, keep the milk in the cup because otherwise it would just leak everywhere. But we're going to keep it in the cup. And I am going to set the intention for this milk to allow for ease and flow of this multiplied money into my life. Place it here. So we just kind of arrange all of our items around it. Again, you may have more or less items, whatever feels right to you. So once all of the items that you're using, all of your ingredients are placed around the outside of the circle, we are going to draw a line from each object to the item that you're enchanting. So a line will be drawn from each of these items to the object that we're enchanting. Up to you if it feels best to draw the line straight to the edge of the circle or all the way to the item. It's completely up to you, whatever feels best, but we're just drawing it in because the idea here is that we are transferring that energy that we've just charged into each of these items, and the energy that each of these items hold, because I picked these items because the bay leaf represents abundance and money, citrine is good for amplification, right? Like I've picked each of these items, these ingredients intentionally. So we're taking the energy that they hold as well as the intention and energy we've put into them just now, and we're drawing it all into our charm, right, into our item that we're charming. And as you draw each line, you're going to say an incantation. And I'll give you the incantation here. I'll recite it once for you, and then I'll also put it in that email that you can receive when you sign up for this series for free at the link in the description below this video, so that that's easy for you to reference. It'll be sent to your inbox once you do that, so definitely go check that out. So the incantation that you want to say as you draw your line from each item, you say this each time you draw the line. And you can say this out loud. I like to just say it in my head, but the incantation goes like this. From this to that, energy flows. Multiply my riches, make my money grow. So I'm going to say that in my head as I draw a line from each item to my little frog. So again, as I drew each of these lines, I said that line, that incantation to myself, and I visualized and felt the energy and intent moving from each object into this frog here, into the item I'm enchanting. By doing this, by saying this incantation each time you draw a line, by visualizing that energy moving, by doing it with each of these items, what you're doing is multiplying the power of each ingredient, right? Each ingredient multiplies the power of the other. It all layers onto the item that you are enchanting. So you are multiplying the power of all the ingredients, the power of your spell, and all the money in your life. Now, once you are done drawing each of these lines, you want to leave this out in the sunlight for at least an hour to charge and to really activate and seal in that energy into the item that you are charming. When the hour is up, you can then pick up each of the items in the order that you put them down. So we'd start with our bay leaf and then the citrine and go clockwise around the way, the order I put them down in on the paper. And as you pick up each of these ingredients one at a time, you're going to thank them for their work in this spell. And then once you've done that, you can dispose of the ingredients, you can toss them out, you can recharge them like a crystal. I will probably recharge this at the next full moon. You can do whatever you think is appropriate to dispose of or reuse your ingredients, entirely up to you. Honestly, if I had maybe some mint instead of the bay leaf, which actually isn't a bad idea, I would maybe make a simmer pot with some of these ingredients and use them to do some further spell work that way, entirely up to you. So we'll go ahead and remove each of these items. So we'll take the bay leaf off and say thank you for bringing me more and more abundance. We'll take the citrine off, thank you for amplifying my abundance. We take the cinnamon stick off, thank you for speeding up the manifestation of abundance and multiplied money into my life. I would brush the sugar off. I will do that in a moment here. And take that off and say thank you for attracting money into my life, for sweetening my life to attract money to it. And then we'll remove the milk and say thank you for helping money and my amplified abundance and money flow into my life smoothly and with ease. So we'll clean this up here. All right, so now that we have removed all of our items, we are left with our little drawing and our item that we have charmed. So now we can pick up our item, and it is now fully activated. It is now charmed and working to multiply money in your life. So you can now wear it, carry it, put it in your purse, your wallet, whatever you want to do to kind of be in that energy of multiplied money and have this be actively working to bring you more and more money every day. So this guy will go, once I do this properly myself, since this was an example video, this will then go into the zippered change purse part of my wallet on the back of it. And that, I think, will be a good little home for him. Another word here about your charmed item is you can carry this with you indefinitely. From now on, it is charmed. Charms often do wear off over time or lose their potency, so I personally like to set him out in the sun like once a week or once a month and let him recharge. And that's really all you need to do to recharge it, especially if that is your intent and your energy as you're doing it. Something else you can do is you can keep this paper if you want to, especially if you've made it very beautiful. Mine is not the most beautiful, but you can then set him or your little item back in the middle of it whenever you want to recharge it and use this as a charging pad. You can leave this whole thing out in the sun. You could even just do the whole recharming again, put all of the items there again if you like, if that seemed to work well for you and you want to kind of just redo the spell that way. I will sometimes keep my charging pads when I've done them very beautifully. This was not done as beautifully because I was kind of, doing it for the camera, but I will sometimes keep them, and you can draw sigils here or draw sigils here to represent the item that you originally used to charge it and charge it with that same energy. You can decorate it however you like, save it as a nice little charging pad, make it more of a ritual that you use monthly or something like that to recharge your item. Now, once I am done entirely with this charming, I will pick up my item, like I said, and then I will close out my practice. So I will shield and ground myself. So yeah, that's it. That's our spell. There's my little guy. He's so cute. But yeah, that's our spell for multiplying money. It's a really, I think, beautiful and fun way to charm items and enchant them to bring more and more of that money into your life. So yeah, there we go. Let's talk now about troubleshooting the spell. So if you have charmed something and after a few weeks or months, it's not really getting you the results you want, let's chat about what to do with that. So if you do this spell and it's not really working after carrying around your charmed item for a couple weeks or a month or so, and you're really not seeing any sort of multiplication of your finances, then here are some things you can look at to try to figure out how to strengthen this spell or really fix any holes in it that might be occurring for you. So first, you can always try to do this spell again. You could maybe change the item that you're enchanting and carrying with you. You could also use the same item or a different item and switch up the ingredients that you're using to charge this item with or to charm this item with. You can, of course, leave your item that you have charmed in the sun to recharge if you feel like it just doesn't have that oomph. Or you could redo this spell and change up the intention that you're bringing to it. Sometimes if we are saying, I'm going to triple my income, but we don't really believe that we can, then we're kind of not really carrying a full pure intention and energy into the spell and into the way that we are comporting ourselves afterwards. And that really leads into the last and main thing I always recommend for troubleshooting with any sort of money magic is checking in with yourself and making sure that after you've done your spell, as you're carrying around your charmed item, that you're actually embodying your magic. And what I mean by this is, are you going about your life thinking, feeling, acting, believing that your spell has worked and that the money, the amplified money you desire, is on its way to you? Because most of the time what will happen is people will do spell work, they'll do money magic, and then they kind of doubt that it's going to work, and they're like, I don't know that that's really a real thing. I don't know that this is going to work. I don't know that I'll ever get my multiplied finances. And you're constantly kind of checking over your shoulder or checking your bank balance or checking your notifications to see if that money you desire is coming back to you. And when you're doing that, that's not how you'd be acting or thinking or feeling if the money already had multiplied in your experience, if you already were seeing evidence of it, if your spell had already been successful. So that's really the key here, is making sure that you're connecting with the version of you who's already had this spell work amazingly for them, and then being that version of you now until the amplified money shows up in your reality. And this is so much easier said than done. I understand that, but this is the part of spell work that nobody talks about. This is the part of magic that nobody talks about, the part of manifestation that nobody talks about. It's this embodiment piece. So if you are not embodying the wealth you desire, if you're not embodying the version of you who had this spell work perfectly for them, the exact way they intended, if you are not embodying that version of you, then you are subconsciously but actively working against the magic you just did. You're working against this spell, you are blocking it. So that is really the important thing to look at. And this is, again, the hardest part of money magic to master, to really work with. This is actually the hardest part of any spell. So if you find that you are struggling with this and you want support around mastering this piece of embodiment, that is exactly why I created my membership called The Wealth Vibe. This is such an incredible and unique community that is something I am so proud of and so in love with, in my business, and it is just full of like-minded people who are all manifesting or working magic or doing some sort of beautiful next level thing to embody and manifest the wealth that they desire into their life. So if you want a like-minded community, you want resources, you want to come connect with me and really work on holding this embodiment of your next level self, of the next level of wealth that you desire, of your spells and your money magic working perfectly, then come join me inside this membership. It is so powerful. Enrollment is open for just the next few days. And the challenge that we're doing in October in there, the monthly challenge, is designed to help you really connect with and hold this embodied, masterful presence of magic and money in your life. So I can't wait to share that with you. Definitely come check it out and join me in there if it feels aligned. The link to get all the info and enroll in the Wealth Vibe membership is in the comments below this video. You can also go to tayloreaton.com/thewealthvibe. I hope to see you in there if it calls to you. It is such an exceptional space. Now, all of that being said, that is our spell for multiplying money. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the spell. Let me know if you do it and how it goes for you. I would love to hear. And of course, be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. I've got so much more fun, amazing, powerful content coming out for you around wealth embodiment, money mindset, and of course, money magic. So thank you for joining me in this money magic series. It has been such a treat to get to share all of these spells and magical workings with you. I hope that they serve you well. I cannot wait for you to see what I have coming for you next on this channel. In the meantime, I'm wishing you so much love and abundance.